Good evening, fiends. Welcome to another episode of Sinister Parlor Podcast. I'm Zombie Barbie with my always awesome and amazing co-host, the one and only Bud Vino.
Rhiannon Nicole and Bud Vino, the dynamic duo, Saturday night again, Rhiannon. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited. As always, the energy is just, I can feel it. Rhiannon, we've got another awesome guest tonight. Who the heck is it, Rhiannon?
We have a badass guest tonight, special effects and makeup artist for some incredible movies. I've actually seen a lot of them. Erik Porn, how are you?
Good. And yes, it is a real last name. I usually have to show my ID to people first, but yeah, it's...
You're like, I'm sure it's true.
I am so happy, Erik. First of all, thank you so much, buddy, for joining us, and we're going to get into a lot of the things you do, because as Rhiannon said, you've done a ton. So, first off, again, we're honored to have you. Thanks for taking the time.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Secondly, Rhiannon, as well as speaking you up, when I saw your name, I said, I hope to God he has a sense of humor. And we have been busting our guts behind the scenes just getting to know each other. You have one of the best senses of humor. So thank you for that. And I'm excited. I haven't seen a lot of porn movies, but I'm excited because I plan on watching nothing but porn movies tonight and maybe tomorrow because we're going to learn a lot about it. And I want to watch some porn, brother.
If I ever get to direct something, there'll be another porn movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Keep the porn raining down.
There it is, yeah.
Raining down.
Keep the family name out there.
Absolutely.
Oh,
we want everyone out there watching porn movies. Of course, that's the goal, Erik. I have to, Erik. I'm sure you're annoyed. I told it. Rhiannon, I have a sense of humor of a 16-year-old. I'm sure he's probably annoyed with the amount of... so I say that very affectionately. I don't say that.
I grew up with
again.
it, so.
Yeah, you're like, shut the hell up. I've heard them all, dude. You're not original. It's nothing fun. I've heard it. Yeah, so...
Once in a great while, someone comes up with something I hadn't heard before. I'm like, God damn. What?
Yeah, I'll be candid with you. The things that were going through my head, I was, but even, not intentional things like that. It's great. See, it's one of those things where it's a beautiful thing that the universe gives you awesome stuff all the way around.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, too, like you go on a date and, the saddest part is it comes with expectations when you're like, if you're expecting, Louisville Slugger or something down there, I'm sorry, but,
Erik,
not a mutation.
I already love your sense of humor about it. I was hoping, I'm going to be honest, I'm hoping that this is great, that's awesome, yeah.
There's an expectation. It's like, no, sorry guys, I'm not one of the mutants from Hills Have Eyes. I apologize.
Right.
The hills between the thighs, or whatever. I guess.
Oh,
but yeah,
that's an Erik Porn. That's an Erik Pornism. So, is porn short for anything like pornography or anything like that?
It's a funny story. I don't know. My brother's looking it up right now. But the problem is, my father had passed away 5 years ago, and so you're kind of cleaning up their place or whatever, and we found a book that had sort of like a family tree, like a home-drawn family tree. And I started to go down, and I saw, porn, and then I saw my great-grandmother, and her name was Nora Cox. And I was like,
oh my God!
What the fuck?
Oh,
so, at that point, I decided I'm not going to look anymore, because it's just going to get worse.
Erik. Oh, man, first of all, condolences to your dad, my stepdad. He was like a dad. He passed away about 10 years ago.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to you, too. But since then, I've wanted to look up my own actual family tree, so it's interesting that you say that. But what a hilarious friggin' story, Erik.
I was waiting to find, a queef or a felch or something,
You almost, Erik, at this point, you almost have to keep looking, brother. I mean
Virginia queef, orange felchers, I don't know, something like that.
Right.
The other night, we were playing Cards Against Humanity with my dad.
I love that game.
So it's so fun. But this thing came up. One of the cards was something about queefing, and my dad's like, "What is that?" My brother looks at him and he's like, "It's when she from her vagina." He's like, "Oh, dude, I had a girlfriend that did that shit. She was showing my brothers and stuff." We're like, "What the fuck?"
How did that get here?
That was your dad?
My dad.
So that could have been your mom at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Dad, was that mom?
You should get Trauma on the phone. This is a movie, Queefing Mom. That's be another Lloyd Kaufman classic.
Well, Rhiannon was talking about how much fun you were going to be, and she undersold you, and and she was bragging about you. So yeah, this is going to be great.
Oh, God.
No, it's already great.
Oh, yeah. So you have on your IMDb, you have so many movies, and big name movies too. But one of the ones, and this is how I had found you. It's been getting a lot of steam. I've seen it just posted everywhere. I did watch it. I believe I rented it. So The Wretched.
Yes.
Which that is a badass movie. There are scenes in that movie where like, holy shit! And I'm really into. I'm not good at them, but I'm into special effects. So I'm even watching. Like, how the fuck did they do that? How the fuck did you do that?
It's so translated. Yeah, exactly.
On a very low budget too.
Really?
On that one. Yeah. I think the whole movie was under $2 million.
Well, $2 million sounds like a lot, though.
Well, it was like $1.5 million or something. It was like this little movie that they were going to shoot up in Michigan, and me and my business partner met the directors one night because we're Michigan guys too. So the producer, his name's Chang, said, "You got to meet these guys from Michigan. Their dad worked on the original Evil Dead."
Oh,
and we were like,
fuck.
Okay, let's check this out. So we went out to like sushi in Burbank or something. I think we talked maybe about the movie for 10 minutes and then spent like 3 hours telling jokes about growing up back in Michigan. And, them being like little babies when their dad was shooting special effects sequences from the original Evil Dead in their basement.
Oh my God.
So it was actually really fun. And, we read the script. We were like, we got to do this thing.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm so excited that Rhiannon didn't know this until now. I don't know if you knew, but in a different dimension, Rhiannon is married to Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
She's very excited. She's a big, see, there he is right there.
I have him by me at all times.
Yeah.
I've met the guy once. He was very cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, see? See how the law of attraction works, Rhiannon. It's supposed to be this.
Oh, that's so awesome. It's the original Evil Dead. Damn. That's incredible.
It's hard to put a wedding ring on that chainsaw, I guess, but,
Yeah, but we could just do like a really big bracelet, and that would work
just
as well.
Clamp it on. It'll be like one of those little hose clamps where you just tighten it. It's got a diamond mounted on it. It'd be great.
See, you do effects, so we'll have you make it.
We could do it. You'd have to get the diamond somewhere else because I don't know shit about diamonds. So.
Well, Rhiannon, I've really slacked off here because I still have not. And Eric, I'm sorry, you probably won't want to. I have never seen The Evil Dead, and Rhiannon's been busting my balls since we started the show because she really wants me to watch it, and I bought it. And now, we had Jamie Nash on. We call him Professor / Jamie Nash a few months ago. Yeah. And he said I almost shouldn't watch it now because that's kind of my thing. Like certain people, you have your thing. Because he had watched, I think it was The Sound of Music or something, Rhiannon, something like that. And it ruined it for him because he had never watched it.
Something, yeah.
It was something like that. So do you think I should watch it, Mr. Porn? Or should I? You do.
I think you should watch it. Yeah.
That's a 1-1, so we'll need a tiebreaker, which is probably Rhiannon. She's going to tell me to watch it.
Take the porn's advice and watch it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Take advice from porn.
When in doubt, go with porn. That's what I always say.
When in doubt, porn it out. There you go.
Porn it out, yes.
I can just have fun with his last name. I mean, I will until the day I die, I'm sure.
Well, I'm like a 16-year-old. I told my wife, I said, and I told Rhiannon, I said, I could go annoyingly, and I'm sure he's probably heard them all. And I'm so happy that you're such a good sport. We'll have to go on one time and just see how long we can go with just your name.
Go for it. I mean, I've heard a bunch of them, but yeah, it's like the names you can't give your kids. Like, can't give your kids a name like Catherine because then it's Kitty, or like Peter or Sharon. I'm trying to think. It's Star. You can't give your daughter's name Star or anything because then she's porn star.
Porn star,
call roll or whatever. But yeah,
all that stuff.
Porn.
Well, we'll have a marathon.
You could, yeah.
We'll have a marathon. And see how much porn we can go with. Just a whole marathon. We'll sweat it out. The best
thing is none of it will actually be talking about legit porn. So yeah.
Everybody will be like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on?
Where are we? What happened?
If I didn't have a sense of humor about the name, I probably would have killed myself in high school.
Because you get your balls busted, but if you have a sense of humor, you just roll with it.
Or just beat the fuck out of them.
Well, yeah, I got my first job in the industry in Los Angeles because of the last name, which is funny.
Really?
I moved out to LA from Michigan in 2005. I was 27 years old, a little past my prime for starting into the effects industry. A lot of people go right from like 18, 19 and work in shops. But I went to a studio, and the guy there had seen my name on the resume and called me in just to ask if my name was real. And so he was like, well, I'll hire you if I can call you Porno. I was like, you can call me asshole if you're paying my rent. So, whatever, I don't care. But, there it is. So my first job was actually because the name was funny.
That's fucking awesome.
Well,
what movie was it?
Well, all seriousness, too, Eric.
God.
I know, and I'm going to go. Yeah. Well, for the people out there, too, that might be have names they're not necessarily happy with, yours got you in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing.
What was the movie called again?
Well, I basically got hired into a shop to be one of the shop people, but the first movie that I was called to work on was a little movie called Strange Wilderness. It was an Adam Sandler comedy. Like, it was all of his buddies were doing it. It was one of the first movies I think Jonah Hill had like a starring role in, because before that he had just done like what was it? He just done the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and he was like kind of the awkward guy in the eBay store. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I remember,
I just want to buy these boots.
Yeah, he had just done that, and so they were like, oh, one of the leads is the kid from 40-Year-Old Virgin who did the eBay store, and one of the guys is like, that kid's going to be big one of these days. He's going to be like the new John Candy or whatever. And then, you're just like, could be, and then you see it happen. You're like, oh, he was psychic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten really big.
Yeah.
And then lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Then he lost a bunch of weight, yeah. So he got big and then thinned down and he got even bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then was up for an Oscar.
Yeah, that's crazy, yeah. I really liked him in 21 Jump Street, or which one was it where he's like, my name's Jeff? Is that the
I think it was 21 and 22 Jump Street or whatever. Uh-huh. They were good. They were funny. I like that one.
Those are really good.
Yeah.
So you had said that you and your business partner went down to talk to the producer. Was it the producer, you said, of The Wretched?
The directors. I had worked with the producer on a couple movies. Like, I've worked with that producer for like 12 years, on and off, just doing things. And he recommended these guys. I don't even know how he knew these guys, but he recommended them. And we went out to sushi. We hit it off. It was just fun. Like, talking to those guys was like talking to your long-lost brother you never had. Mm-hmm. So we all got along, and then, there were a couple false starts. Like, they were going to try to start, I think we met in like a February or March, and they were going to try to start that summer. And that was like 2017, and then something fell through. They didn't get exactly the right kind of financing or something. So we thought the project went away, and then it was like a year later they called us up and like, hey, we're going to shoot this summer. And it was like, oh, you mean in like 3 months from now? They're like, yeah, how long will it take to build stuff? It's like, well, 3 months.
Yeah.
So we had to rush a lot of that stuff. I mean, if you watch the movie like The Deer, there was no time and no budget to actually build a deer. So it's like a taxidermy deer that I got from a family member who had this giant, like, his father had passed away, and he had been a hunter, and he had all these trophies that they were selling off.
Wow. So
I think I got the deer for like dirt cheap. Then we cut it apart, we jointed it, and, I mean, still kind of like a taxidermy looking deer when you see it, but I think it sold for the movie. It worked for the movie.
Oh yeah, it did for sure. So I was watching on Instagram, because they were posting behind the scenes pictures. So the cave, like the cave with like the tree that was in the tree, and like the water that was in there and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that something you built as well, or is that a whole different department?
No, that was the art department. There was a woman named Mars Freeney, and she was awesome. Like, her and her set builder, Bonnie Goodson, they were great. They built that stuff all out of foam, and it was just incredible. Like, because they came over to pick the stuff up. Someone was driving all this stuff from LA to Michigan, so they came over with like a U-Haul trailer to pick this up, and we looked in there, and there was just this giant tree, and it looked like the tree from Sleepy Hollow, kind of. It was big and gnarled and cool, and then I think they just started building the cave when they got to Michigan. I don't think any of that was built in LA. That would be a question for them, but they did an awesome job on that. Like, for what they had to work with, it was pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So they brought everything from LA to Michigan, so that's where you shot, was Michigan? Yeah,
shot in Michigan. Since I'm from there, it was great because my sister lived in the town that we were shooting at, so I got to hang out with family. My youngest niece got to have a part in the movie, and yeah, so it was cool. They got to come to set, got to watch me, work on the makeups and all that. So none of my family's ever seen this kind of stuff, so it was kind of a fun time for them. So I had a great time working on this movie. I'm sure other people that were on the crew were not used to the weather, and a lot of them were from LA, and it was freezing cold when we got there. So yeah, it was definitely a fun shoot for me.
That's awesome.
Sounds like it. Rhiannon, if I could, and I know we're going to continue to talk about all your awesome movies, but I have to ask, we're big Tom Savini fans, and so kind of Tom Savini kind of brought me, around that time of me getting into horror, I also kind of simultaneously got into the effects part of it. What did it for you, Erik?
Well, Tom was a big influence on me. I remember age 12, I think I got the Grand Illusions book. There was a costume shop in my hometown, and I saw the book was there, and I picked it up. And then, of course, now modern kids have, they watch people on YouTube sticking tin cans in their eyes and wax wounds and, doing the jointed fingers, the segmented fingers. I was copying, the stuff that Tom did in the book, which was, we're going to make dentures out of this, we're going to do that. And some of the stuff in the book was way beyond what I had means to do. I didn't know where to order foam latex. I didn't know how to mold any of that stuff. So Tom was a big influence, yeah. And I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and then I remember bumping into him a couple times there, and that was a big thing for me because, it's oh shit, it's Tom Savini.
That's awesome.
And I'd watched, I think, what was it, the Scream Greats? Remember, he did a movie.
I sure do. I owned it, on VHS.
Yeah, Scream Greats. So I watched Scream
Volume 1.
Yeah, you're watching all this stuff. So I was taking razor blades and dulling them down and putting the little baby syringes on the back, and you take them to class. You can't do this now, but I'd take it to biology class and pretend to wash my hands and slash my hand with a razor and make the kids in the classroom puke, all that stuff.
Right, make blood bags, freak people out.
But I was afraid of this shit when I was a kid. I would watch Friday the 13th and all that stuff, and I just, like most kids like that. And then I think what happened was whenever I was afraid of anything, I just would kind of read about it. And I would try to kind of research it. Then I wasn't afraid of it anymore because I was the one trying to do it. So then I would terrorize, my friends and everybody else that I could terrorize with it. And then it was oh, so now I used to be afraid of it. Now I'm the one who's just scaring people with it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowledge is power, my brother.
Knowledge is power, yeah.
That's awesome.
Keep reading, kids.
Yeah.
Yep,
well, it's
absolutely.
crazy how many guests that we've had that they've, Tom Savini is a huge influence to them. He's so big in the industry and so many people look up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the book and stuff that you guys were talking about, and I believe, Bud, before you were talking about him being on a late night show or something and he would show the effects.
Yeah, I think Jamie brought that up too. One of our past guests, I think we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
he used to show up on the Letterman show and stuff like that. And
right.
then you'd hear about it and you'd be like, "Well, I'm watching Letterman tonight to watch some of this stuff." Yeah. Tom was always kind of that face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'm sorry, Erik. The one thing we've heard too, Rhiannon, let's see if you can concur, Erik. Everybody said he was more than accommodating. Really down-to-earth guy.
Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The times I met him, he was, yeah.
Yeah. It lines up with what other people are saying. So, yeah, that's good. That's good to know, too. Somebody that you idolize and somebody you look up to and that you kind of learned a lot from, or at least you tried to, in my case.
I think the original person that sort of got me into the effects stuff, though, I watched the making of Thriller when I was a kid because, I was at that age when MTV had just started and Thriller was a huge thing, and they did a 2-hour making of it or whatever, and then I would watch Rick Baker, and he took a little tour of the shop. He showed how they did the bladder effects, And I was really kind of just blown away by that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was like Rick Baker, Dick Smith, Tom Savini. Those were probably, you know, Rob Bottin. Those guys were all like big influences on me. And, you know, Steve Johnson too, because like the stuff Steve Shop was churning out was just, it was like maddening. All of it was like really translucent and cool. So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, sorry, it delayed. Go ahead.
No, I was going to add, I don't think you can stress to people that weren't around how big Thriller was.
Yeah.
When it came, it was unbelievably worldwide huge. It was everywhere. It was everything. So, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the making was really cool to watch that, because I remember seeing it, like you were saying, on MTV, and I was just like enthralled by it, and I was like, holy shit. And wasn't it kind of taboo to have it on the MTV channel? Like, it was something really big that he did such a scary video.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I do remember that. There was some controversy behind it because it was so, like, horror movie-ish and kind of, you know, disturbing in some ways, especially for back then. Now it would be, you know, but for back then to have stuff, you know, that I think the time of day was the issue when they were going to run it because of kids and everything. So
yeah,
I think that may be. I'll have to research that and try and bring some of that up and remember.
I mean, I worked for 5 years on Teen Wolf for MTV, and it was amazing the stuff that they let us get away with on that show.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we had an episode. One of the first episodes I worked on, there was a guy who was a werewolf, and he was strung up by his hands. He was hanging in a tree by his hands, and one of the werewolf hunters comes up and just like cleaves him in half with a samurai sword, and his guts spill all over the ground. I was like, are we allowed to show that? But
holy shit. So
you know, you do what they pay you to. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How long did Teen Wolf run? Because I remember I haven't had cable, so when it was on TV, I didn't really get to watch it. I've seen a few episodes. How long did it actually run? Because is it still going?
No, it was 6 seasons. It ran from 2011 till 2017 was when we ended it. I came on season 2. Basically, that was filming in Atlanta. I flew out to Atlanta for 6 months, and then they won like part of that whole. There was a, what do you call it? There was like a lottery to come back to LA and shoot in LA, and they were really far down on the lottery scale. I was like, well, it'd be cool if it's shot in LA next season. But then all of a sudden they did another drawing on the lottery or whatever, and it bumped up to 5. So it was coming back to LA, which was really good news for us because, you know, being away from home for 6 months kind of sucks. But, you know, living out of a hotel, kind of like what I'm doing now. So,
are you in a hotel right now?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel.
Oh, what are you doing? Are you?
I'm in Austin, Texas, working on a show. So yeah, I'm here for 4 months. So it's like they put you up in these hotels, and yeah, that's why the room's not full of horror stuff, because usually I have an office back home.
Okay.
Yeah, you're busy. You can often find porn in a hotel.
No, well, yeah, that's
you
true.
don't have to look for. Yes.
But I wasn't busy for 7 months, so it's nice to be busy again.
Yeah.
Wow. So 4 months. So where did you stay right now? You're in LA now?
I'm in Austin, Texas right now.
Okay. Wow. Are you allowed to say what you're working on or no?
Not right now, no.
Oh, man.
It's a show I've worked on before. That's all I can really say. But yeah, they probably...
He did give us the hint, Rhiannon, so now we're just going to have to guess. He's going to keep us in misery, but he has to.
Well, it's another, you know, it's another effects company that hired me for this, so it's like they like to keep everything on the down low, so, you know. Of course. If you guys are watching, I'm not violating my NDA. Thank you.
He won't tell us.
No. We're trying to make him, but he is steadfast, and he is not. He is being vigilantly.
A lot of things shoot in Austin, Texas. So yeah, a lot of things. They shot Friday the 13th in 2009 here. So.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And then the other makeup effects guys on the team I'm working on, like on the weekends, sometimes we'll go find filming locations. Like we went out to the Baghdad Cemetery from the beginning of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, took a whole bunch of photos. We're all nerds. We love it.
That's cool. That would be fun. Yeah, it seems like Texas and Georgia are like really huge with the movie industry now. There's so many people filming in Texas now. Yeah.
I mean, you've got so much to choose from here. Like the landscapes, it's just crazy how much open space there is and how many fun, like kind of woodsy areas there are.
So, like LA, how you have to have permits for every area you shoot. Is it like
I have to have a permit to use the bathroom, yeah.
Are
So
you shitting me?
literally shitting
I
me.
know.
I was gonna say, we're gonna use
$400.
right into that one. Yeah.
Is it like that in Texas? Do you have to have permits for everything or not really?
I'm not sure about that. That's I think production handles all that stuff. We just go out to where they say to do stuff and we do it.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's so cool. 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eric. Rhiannon tells me you have a fun story involving Christian Bale. Maybe you'd like to fill us in on.
There was a lot of fun stories. I worked on Vice for the makeup designer Greg Canham, who did Lost Boys and Dracula. He's done so much. My business partner was on as the key for Vice, and Chris Gallagher is my business partner.
Oh.
And he was nice enough to bring me and Kenny Myers on as keys. So, sorry, Chris ended up department heading, and then Kenny Myers and myself ended up being keys. Kenny Myers, a lot of people know because of he did all the effects work on Return of the Living Dead. Kenny's done so much, it's ridiculous. He even makes those palettes, the Skin Illustrator palettes that we work on.
Mm-hmm.
Just a legend in the business. He and Greg are both, and so is Chris too. So it was fun working with those guys. But we got to spend about 4.5 hours every day with Christian. And I mean, we were laughing the entire time. He would do his thing where he would get into Dick Cheney mode. He'd watch like Dick Cheney for like 2.5, 3 hours and just get into the mannerisms. But then right before that, it would just be, humor. Like once in a while, he would break into the Batman voice or do a Patrick Bateman voice.
Oh, I love it.
The humor was amazing. Some of the stuff I won't say on here just because he had like some crazy stories that had happened to him where like what? And he'd driven up in this kind of older truck that looked a little beat up, and it had a tape deck in it, and it had the wire coming out of the tape deck to a portable CD player. Like he was sporting this truck from 2003. It was kind of beat up, and we said, "So why are you holding on to the truck? You can pretty much get whatever you want." And he said, "Well, I looked up trucks online to figure out which one I wanted." And he said he watched this particular model truck that they had set it on fire, and then as soon as they extinguished it, the guy got in and the truck drove. He goes, "That's the truck I want." There's a whole lot of stories. From that one, some of them, I can't really tell just because, I'm sure some of them have to do with personal life and stuff like that. There was one though where he said like he was talking to his kids, and they were all big fans of The Rock, and he said something to them like, "So if you had your choice between me or The Rock for your dad, who would you choose?" And they're like, "Well, The Rock," and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I would too."
That's cool that he has a sense of humor because you hear all these conflicting stories that he's hard to work with. I mean, you hear that about a lot of people, but he's hard to work with. He's a method actor. He's method acting the whole entire time. You just hear. I've heard so many bad stories. It's good to hear a good story because I love him.
We never had any issues. We were with him for like 3.5 months, 4 hours every morning. I mean, I wasn't there completely the entire time because Kenny and I sometimes would shift off.
Mm-hmm.
So we never had an issue. He never complained once wearing all that prosthetics. And I think at the end of the show, we had said, you've never worn this kind of stuff before. You didn't complain once the entire time. I think one time he just said, "Well, it kind of burns here a little bit." That was the only complaint I ever saw him.
I would have complained. I would have complained much more than that. I would have complained. Yeah, and man, believe it or not, everyone's gonna think someone's an asshole. Believe it, I've heard that some people think I'm an asshole, if you can believe it. What? And as far as I know, I'm a fucking delight.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you've been nothing but an asshole the whole
Exactly. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. See, it's just all personal preference.
But no, he was great, and like I said, people said, "Watch out, he's got a reputation." I was like, it's because of that thing that came out online, and then he kind of told us his version of it, and I'm like, oh well, that makes sense. So it's everything gets kind of blown out of proportion, and whatnot. But he was, I mean, I don't know anything about what was going on with that too much, just what he said, but he was great with us, so we have no complaints. He was absolutely professional. He was fucking hysterical. He was funny. The shit that would come out of his mouth, it was just funny. Like his humorous timing. I would love to see him do just a straight comedy, like straight up slapstick comedy. He'd be amazing at it. So
that's cool. That's good.
Yeah, we're big American Psycho fans, and I like all of his. I think he's really great. My wife's a big American Psycho fan. And it's funny that you had mentioned Return of the Living Dead, because I did make Allison watch that. My wife, Eric, on Friday night, she watched the whole thing with me. I said, "You got to watch this." I said, "Tom Matthews is in it. It's
amazing.
85. It is it's known as one of the best zombie comedy. I mean, it's awesome. I love it. It's so much fun.
It's like the original Zomcom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love that movie.
Great.
And once in a while, when you go up to Kenny's shop, there's still kind of like a head or something from that. I think he still has the head from part 2 with the screwdriver.
Oh shit!
Well, I still have to see. Actually, we had talked about it on another show that I've never seen. Did you say you hadn't seen part 2 either, or have you seen it? You said it was good, Nathan.
Return of the Living Dead 2. I've seen it, but I told you Return of the Living Dead 3 is my favorite.
That's right, yeah. So I still have to watch 2.
Yeah.
And Steve Johnson did part 3. All those crazy piercings and things that she had. It was ridiculous. It was absurd, but it was so cool.
It was awesome. And the glass, and then like when she ripped the spine up, like pulled his head up, and it was like his spine. That was it's such a badass movie.
That's one of Rhiannon's. She mentions that a lot. She loves it. Isn't that sweet?
I love it.
She remembers those things.
It's a good Valentine's Day movie too. It's a romantic zombie comedy.
It's a love story.
Yeah. And the second one, there was something I told Kenny. I was like, I have no idea how you pulled this off. And then he finally told me. I was like, why didn't I think of that? Which was one of the zombies gets ripped in half in the second one. And you see the guy's crawling on the floor on his hands, and his legs are gone. And I'm like, this is pre-CG. So I said, how the fuck did you do it? And he said, well, they had a regular guy that they made up like the zombie, and then when he gets ripped in half, it was actually a man who didn't have a lower half of his body, and they made him up in a matching zombie outfit, and then they had puppeteered legs that came out. I was like, that's fucking ingenious, because he could actually get up on his hands and move around with his body kind of levitated in the air. Yeah, I mean, when I saw that as a kid, when you see that stuff and then you kind of have a knowledge of how they did it, then you look at it and you're like, I have no clue how they pulled that one off.
Right.
Yeah, that was a creepy ass scene.
I would have never thought of that either. Yeah.
No. And I mean, we've worked with people who are amputees for those kinds of things all the time. So.
That's pretty cool. Damn. So you've been with like some big names in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been that guy that's just assisting the big names usually, but you know.
Awesome though.
Well, every big name needs porn, and we're seeing that here. I mean, it's I'm just gonna.
I mean, Pee Wee Herman needed it.
Right.
I love Pee Wee Herman so much.
She loves Big Talk Pee Wee.
I do love
Big Talk Pee Wee. Yep.
I had a birthday 3 years ago. I did a Pee Wee Herman birthday, so I dressed up like Pee Wee Herman, but I did a skirt instead of the pants. And then I made Cherry the cake, and then I had a little Pee Wee Herman doll on it. And I tried getting everybody dressed up, and fucking nobody would. So I go into this bar, like it was kind of like a bar restaurant. And I'm the only one dressed up like Pee Wee Herman with my fucking cake. I'm carrying my cake. I'm like, you son of bitches. Nobody dressed up.
And they were all like, Rihanna, what are you talking about? Dress up like Pee Wee.
You had to get up on the bar and do the dance. Get tequila playing on the jukebox. You know, you had to do the whole thing.
That would have been
now
awesome.
We're hearing the whole story according to porn.
Yeah, and if
it sounds like a porn
movie, you could have had a hot dog tree. Just remember,
we often conceptualize wonderful ideas here, Eric, and this is one of those times.
I want to redo on that birthday, damn it.
Well, that was the thing in Big Top Pee Wee. He invented the hot dog tree. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Big Adventure is my favorite. That's my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
That was the first VHS I had.
That was the first one.
And I've gone out to the dinosaurs, the Cabazon dinosaurs, just because of that. That and the Wizard. I was like, I have to go visit the dinosaurs because I've seen them on the freeway, just driving by. I'm like, I gotta stop. I have to stop.
Yeah. When I was little, I went to them. I don't remember it though. I just kind of remember driving up and seeing them. But I know we went there. My memory from back then is so kind of gone, you know, because like so much kind of went on as a kid, you know, so you just kind of forget things. But I know I went, and apparently I loved it, but I don't remember.
Who wouldn't? You can go up in the T-Rex's mouth and stare out between his teeth.
Yeah. I don't remember that though.
And it sways like it's gonna fall on its head and you're gonna die. That's one of the.
Ooh,
Maybe
sounds
that's
like
why I don't
fun.
remember it. I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
I went up there 2 years ago and it's just like this. I'm like, this doesn't feel structurally sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't feel too secure on
I'm
this.
like, fuck,
No.
I'm gonna die in a dinosaur's
it's like
mouth.
the carnival ride. You see all the nuts and bolts on the ground down below.
Right.
You're like, wonder where those came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those must be extras.
My safety bar. That's where it came out of.
Right. Right.
It's scary. Oh man. So another big franchise that you worked on, you've worked on multiple Paranormal Activities.
I did. Well, 2 and 3, I think just little tiny things that, took to set for 2 and 3 or whatever, like some kind of, I think there were bite wounds. 3, I think we supplied like a body or something. 4, though, I did the demon makeup, which I don't even know if you really see it in the movie, but I did the demon makeup on, I think, Katie Featherstone was her name. She was the one that was in all of them.
Yeah.
Those things, like the way that they shoot those things is ridiculous.
Really?
I mean, they bought the cameras from like Best Buy. They would go get like these this was back when they were still doing like the little handy cam, they weren't even 4K, they were just like HD handy cams. And they had like this whole entire crew, and then they would hand the actor like the handy cam for the most part, or they would have cameramen, but sometimes it just had to be the actor, and they would go. And I remember they would shoot it all in like January. They would cut it. They would do like a test screening by like April, and they would go back and reshoot like 3/4 of it according to what they read in the test screening, and then they would test screen it again in like June, and then whatever they didn't like in June, they go back and shoot another like 3/4 or 2/3 of, and then the movie would be. I mean, they would start shooting in like August, and then the movie was due out in like September.
Wow.
So,
Damn.
yeah, those were insane.
Fuck yeah. That the first one is the one that, because Blair Witch came out first, right? Before Paranormal Activity. So then, and I know that was a huge, huge, huge success, and that, I guess that was like one of the first ones that did that found footage type thing. But Paranormal Activity, I guess, isn't it still one of the like highest grossing movies ever made or something? Or
it might be. I mean, they spent like what $11,000 on equipment, and then made like $200 million or something. I'm not sure of the numbers, but
yeah. I don't think you're that far off, Eric. I looked it up a couple months ago. We were talking about it, and I know it's astronomical, the return on it. The original.
That's incredible. What a profit, man. But yeah, that first one is the one, like, I guess the first movie that kind of played on my, like, you don't see a whole lot, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, and you're waiting to see something, but you never really see it, and so it's like your head fucking with you the whole time. So I love that franchise. I've watched all of them.
I haven't watched the Ghost Dimension one yet, I don't think.
Really?
I think that was like the 5th one or whatever. I know they're making another one, apparently.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're making another one. I don't know if it's now or... I mean, it'd be a perfect time to make it. You could just shoot it all like we're doing right here, where it's just, Zoom meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
See creepy stuff happening in a house through the Zoom cameras or whatnot.
Yeah, they might as well. Fuck. That's how we've been doing all these quarantine movies, It's like, all right, film your shit, send it in, and then it gets pieced together.
Yeah.
But it works, I mean, it's not a big, huge production, but it still works. At least it gets something out there. So,
yeah, those were pretty fun. I mean, I did little bits on 2, 3, and 4. 2 and 3, mostly not really anything. I was working for a company called Almost Human at the time, and I think there were supposed to be more in 2 and 3, but then in 4 it was like, okay, they're going to do a demon, and it ended up mostly just being like little transfer veins and paint work. But I painted her up with all these reds and blues, and stuff like when you get infected in real life. And then they went down and they said, well, we're going to do a camera test on her, and they were shooting it in night vision. So she got in front of the camera, it looked like she didn't have anything on, like she wasn't wearing anything. So I had to go back in and paint it like jet black. Just to even see it in the night vision. So that was a learning experience with those.
Yeah, it's weird how it can transition. That night vision makes everything different than what you think it's going to look like.
And there was
that must have stuck.
What's that?
That must have stuck when you get done all that, and then you're like, oh.
I was like, that's all right. I'll just put black in the airbrush, and Because I was like, oh, it looks nice and natural. I was happy with it, and then all of a sudden we put it in front of camera. I'm like, she's not wearing anything. So, yeah, that's one of the things Dick Smith always said in all of his course and whatnot growing up was I would read his stuff, and it was always like do the camera test, make meticulous notes about how things would look under different lighting situations, different lenses, all that stuff. So it all does come into play.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, even like normal makeup, it's like they tell you put on way more because on the camera it's gonna look like you have nothing on.
Yeah. And now everything's HD, so you can see your cells dividing.
I know. I hate that. And like I'll pick that shit apart too when I'm looking on. I'm like, oh look, they didn't cover that. Oh look at that. Oh look, there's like something in her nose, or oh there's a zip that they need to pop. It's like shit. You see everything.
There was. I won't say which movie it was. There was a classic horror film that I grew up on, and I went back to watch it on like Blu-ray or HD, and all the prosthetics were just like this kind of white gray color. And then the skin was all this red because it was never made to be in this HD stuff, and it looked great on 35 millimeter. I've seen the movie in 35 millimeter on the big screen, and everything looked great. But then you go and you filter it, and you tweak the color and stuff, and all of a sudden all the prosthetics are showing up. I'm like, oh, that's not cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that sucks. It's like all the upgrades on everything is really cool, but it also fucks up a lot of the older stuff.
It does, and then there's this true motion on TVs now that makes everything look like soap operas. Mm-hmm. And everything just looks awful when I see that. So I go every time I get a new TV, I go and I turn that shit off. Some people like it. I'm like, I can't even watch this because it looks like I'm watching a home video.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know there was an option to turn it off because I've seen it before, like going in the store and you see it, or like sometimes a movie will come on and you can see that, whatever it is. What is it? True Vision?
It's different for every television company. Some of it's like True Motion, some of it's like Smooth Motion, whatever. You can turn it off though. You can turn it back to its normal.
Okay. Because I'll get anxiety. I'm like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Something looks weird. It almost looks like they're kind of real, but they're not. Like, it fucks my head up. I don't like it.
Whenever I feel annoyed with that stuff, I go watch like Land of the Lost from 1974.
Exactly, right?
That's what I do, and it makes me feel, it centers me again. I go watch a good Slee Stack Attack, and I'm good. That's what you have to do. You have to refresh.
Shot on old video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I saw too. There's a couple I want to touch on, but Insidious Last Key. What did you do on there?
I got called in. That was one of those ones I got called in for a day. My friend Carly Herbert was department heading on that. Mm-hmm. At least she was my department head on that. There was another department head on that too. A guy named Anthony, really great guy. They called a bunch of us in just to do some ghosts. It was a scene that never ended up making the movie. It was something like all these ghosts were coming out of these prison cells and whatnot, and you just go in, you just have fun for the day. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing was, it was I think it was Justin Raleigh's company, Fractured Effects, did all the makeup effects on that. So I mean, one of the things about my job is just being a hired hand, and then going and doing kind of, you could do a day on some film here, or a day on another film there, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was fun because they just gave you like a box full of like pieces and said, do this. And so you just went and had fun with it. Sadly, it didn't make it in the movie because I thought it was a really cool scene. And like I said, they had a whole bunch of people who were amputees. So I think my guy didn't have an arm, so we put like a big gash wound, like his arm had been torn off. And it was really fun. I think the most upsetting thing was, like I went to go see the movie and the whole scene was cut. I was like, no, because there were so many fun makeups. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever the film company wants to do, so you've got no say in that. But that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nowadays, I don't really. Back in the beginning, I would put stuff that I worked on for a day on my IMDb, like, oh, it's like a resume, you update it. Now people are like, no, you don't really do the stuff that you were on it for like a day or whatever. So it's like I haven't been updating, and I do a lot of day playing now. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And then what about candy corn? Was that a big thing, or was that just a?
It was one of those things where our buddy Justin Mabry, he's one of the guys behind Trick or Treat Mask Company, and he came to us and said, he's acting as producer, and he's also acting in this movie called Candy Corn, and he's been hyping it up quite a bit. And I think they had already done most of the effects stuff on location in Ohio, I think is where they did it.
Yeah.
But they came back and they shot for a little bit in LA, so we did, my business partner and I stepped in and did some little things for the LA shoot. Justin did a lot of the makeup on it too. That was fun though. It was cool because I think I even got to play a little part in the movie, like when Tony Todd's sitting around the campfire talking with carnies. I'm sitting next to him just like, yeah.
Oh, that was you!
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's cool. We had Josh Hasty on probably like a year ago.
Oh, yeah? He's a fun guy, isn't he?
Cool, yeah. He's awesome. Yeah.
He was really under a lot of stress when I saw him because I think they only had a day to shoot all the pickup shots. So I felt really bad for him because I was like, oh, man, this guy's got the weight of the world on his shoulders right now. But Candy Corn was fun. I remember seeing Justin had shown us the mask that he had made for it. And there was actually 2 masks. The one that was in the movie, I think, was the second one he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That the Jacob guy was wearing?
Yeah, that kind of like zombie looking mask that he wore. It was really cool. And the guy had a great look for it, too. He's big, tall, skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. How was it working with Tony Todd? Is he really nice, or was it...
Oh, God, yeah. He's fun. He was so down to earth. I remember I was like, oh, dude, I grew up watching your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Candyman.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That movie scared the shit out of me when I was younger. We watched it at a slumber party, and I was, like, scared for days.
Yeah. We were going to see it when I was a kid. I think me and my friend had gone to see it, and we had to buy a ticket. They wouldn't let us in because we weren't 17. So we had to buy a ticket to something else that was PG, and then we ended up going in and, like, sneaking back into the Candyman theater to go watch that because without our parents, and we were like, our parents don't want to see this.
Yeah.
My parents didn't want anything to do with the horror industry. They used to get so angry just seeing all the shit I would do around the house. So, but yeah, Candyman was a great one. I want to see the remake. It looks like it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
It looks
and
good.
Socially relevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I'm excited about that too. Candyman, that original is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'd worked for the director of that on another movie called Sex Tape, Bernard Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Porn worked on a sex tape.
Yeah, see,
there was a movie called Sex Tape.
Was that with Jason? God, I can't remember his last name. Is that where it goes up into the cloud? Like they make this.
No, it was literally. I'm trying to remember because I don't remember. I apologize. I don't remember the actors' names on it. It was they go into this abandoned hospital and it's haunted. Oh. It was a found footage thing, and they go in there to make a sex tape.
Oh, okay, that's not what I was thinking.
And then she ends up becoming possessed and all kinds of gnarly stuff. And some of the stuff I was shocked that they actually showed it.
I might have seen
where it got into the sex tape business, where I was like, wow, can they show that? That's pretty X-rated stuff. But we had to make like a fake penis for that movie that got bit off, and I'm like, can they actually show this happening?
It seems like we have prosthetic penises that come up on this show a lot, Eric. Believe it or not, we had Todd Jenkins and Mitch Wilson on from Knucklebones, and we talked about prosthetic penises for a good 10 minutes. So you're in good company.
Yeah, and then Cherokee Creek too. They had like tons of dicks on there, and their dicks kept getting stolen.
Yeah, people were stealing their on-set dicks. Can you believe that, Eric?
People steal anything, but that's a new form of that's a new low, I think, because you know what's going to happen with that.
It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it's got to be somebody on set. Like, it's not just some random person walked in and stole the prosthetic
When you
dick.
steal, when you steal a prosthetic penis, where do you hide it? I don't think I want to know the answer.
We're not going to answer that. There might be.
We're not going to answer that.
Yeah.
But if people are able to sneak out so undetected,
nothing in their hands.
Right. Jump up and down. Okay, if you're good, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, is it quarantine? Do they have the mask over? You can't.
Right. There's so many variables in this. But yeah, penises seem to be the hottest commodity. We actually said that you're gonna have like guards around your penises when you have them on set.
did many penis gags, and like that Strange Wilderness movie, the first movie I worked on in LA, there was like 5 penis jokes in that movie. We had to do a stretchable one. We had to do one that was called like Frankenstein penis or whatever, where the guy had got his cut open and it was stitched up. And of course they show it. You know, they always have to show it. That's comedy now. It's like, we got to show the balls. You know, there's got to be something sticking out of someone's pants, anything.
Something about Mary ruined it for everybody, because once they showed the balls and everybody laughed, and everybody showed balls.
They're like, oh, we can get away with this.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So Devil, is that the one with the elevator? Is it M. Night Shyamalan that did that one?
Yeah.
That was a badass movie. And were you head on that one, or how did you get involved in that?
No, I mean, I think I was the shop supervisor on that one, maybe, or one of the shop supervisors. I'd have to remember. It was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was working still for Almost Human, but I was in the shop for that one. I didn't get to go to. I think they filmed in Toronto, and my boss got to go out to Toronto. It's very difficult to get the Canadians to allow American makeup artists to come in, unless it's like specifically a producer has to make like arrangements with the Canadian film office and the government, because they want their people to be there, which is understandable.
Yeah.
There's immensely talented people in Canada, so that was one where we just built all these bodies for it, because they didn't want to have the actors in harnesses hanging from the ceiling, or laying on the bottom of the elevator with glass sticking out of their neck, all that stuff. So we had to make like a whole bunch of very realistic bodies that we put onto the elevator. The one was the old lady in the elevator, and she had to come in. We had to do casts for her legs, her arms, her head, everything, and it had to be jointed. It had to have a metal frame in it that could move in certain ways, because they were going to play around with the body. They were going to wiggle the head, all kinds of stuff on it. Some of the stuff that didn't make it in that movie, it was when we were supposed to do it, it was an R-rated movie. There was supposed to be a lot more disturbing things, and I think they cut it down to PG-13.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of that stuff got cut.
I wonder if they'll do like an extended version where they'll release it on DVD so you can see all of those parts.
I mean, it'd be cool. But I think I've seen the Blu-ray of it, and I don't think they have any of those scenes. Aww. They shot a lot of different things, like what the devil is supposed to look like when it shows up finally. I think that was the big thing, because it was mostly like the lady, and she had like the dead eyes, and her skin was all sloughing down, things like that. Damn it, I just gave away the end of the movie. Sorry.
Well, if they haven't seen it by now, then...
Yeah. You guys are 10 years too late, and I don't apologize.
Yeah, fuck you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Now they'll need to see it just to see what the effects were.
Dexter becomes a lumberjack. Uh-oh. Big surprise.
Speaking of, they're coming out with a new season, aren't they? They're starting to...
Yeah, I've been rewatching it. The entire run of it, because I'm here, I'm working on the computer and stuff, and I'm like, I just have Dexter going on in the background because I don't remember enough of it. So
yeah, I honestly have not even watched it. I need to watch it.
I just ruined the ending for you. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Just Mr. Spoiler.
That is okay. I don't have the time really. So and my friend that I work with, she is way into Dexter, and she has a huge crush on him. So I've been hearing about it for years.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Rhiannon and I both thought we had watched it. And I've never watched either, but I have friends that rave about it and just assume that I've watched it. But I've heard about the revival, and so I'm looking forward. That is one series my wife and I have talked about venturing into.
Oh, it's great.
I think I'm gonna. A lot of people are like, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. So I think I will.
When I was at that old shop, we did a head for one of the episodes. We were so geeked that we got to do, basically just a prop that showed up on one of the episodes. But we were so stoked that we actually stayed late every day, just like, we got to make this thing look really awesome because we love this show.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You got ahead in
it was
there.
Fun. Yeah. got ahead of the game, I guess. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So when you said, a minute ago, you said when I was working for Almost Human, is that the show Almost Human, or is that...
There was a shop I worked for
okay.
when I was in LA called Almost Human. It's not in business anymore, but
okay.
Yeah, that was where I got my start. So I worked for them for like 8 years, and then met up with my current business partner when we were on Teen Wolf, and we ended up, we were both grew up like 10 minutes from each other in Michigan, didn't really know each other before LA, and just hit it off. So started our own company, and ever since then, we've done, we did all the makeup effects stuff that Greg hired us out to do for Vice. So like all the Christian Bale pieces were out of our shop. So yeah, I mean, we've been doing like little tiny movies, and we did that movie, and there's a couple of movies that we're supposed to do that quarantine put the kibosh on. There were also going to be some nice, fun, big movies, but some of them got canceled because of quarantine.
Like completely canceled? They're not going to start again? Oh, shit.
One of them got sort of turned into a webisode thing. But it was like the creators of the movie have a TV show that's been going for a long time, and they were trying to make the movie in between seasons of the show, and now that this happened, they were like, no, we can't do it.
Oh man, that sucks.
And the lead actor was British, and he can't even get in the country.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Because everything's shut down.
It sucks. Yeah, there's been so many things closed down. A lot of people are, all their shit's getting canceled. I mean, people that act for a living, their jobs are gone pretty much.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But you know what, though? At least we have Porn.
Yeah.
And we've had Erik Porn on for the past hour.
Guilty.
And we appreciate you very much, buddy. This has been a hell of an interview.
Yes.
More fun than I even expected, which is a wonderful thing. That seems to be happening a lot lately, Rhiannon. We're blessed.
Yeah.
And we continue to be tonight. So again, Erik, this has been incredible. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again.
Anytime.
So now we'll let you, any of your social media pages to find you on, your business, where to find anything about you, and certain movies you want them to check out. Just now's your time for like shout outs and where to find your awesomeness.
Well, I'm kind of easy. I'm just on Instagram. I was on Facebook, and then the election happened. I said, I'm going to shut down Facebook for a long time until all the ugliness just leaves. I don't need that. But Instagram, I'm just at Erik Porn. ERIKPORN, as bad as it sounds. And our company is Bitemares Inc. BITEMARESINC. Yeah. It started as a tooth company doing like dentures and stuff, so we just kept it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Chris had a denture company making vampire teeth for shows.
Shit.
So he was like, I've already got a company, let's just go that way.
That sounds
so
cool.
Those are both on Instagram.
Yep, on Instagram. And then check out his IMDb, because there are so many movies on there. Big movies.
There's a lot on there there's a lot I didn't put on there too, so.
That sucks. I want to know. I want to know your secrets.
Yeah.
No, it's just, now that I do a lot of day checking, I realize, like, I don't want to put the stuff I just worked on one day on there, so I kind of kept that stuff off.
Yeah. At least you're staying busy.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's been fun, yeah.
All right.
So, thank you guys for having me. I really had a fun time.
Yeah, us too. And now we'll let Bud, it's you.
Yes. There is plenty of porn on Instagram, so go check him out. As he said, that's where he's most prevalent. Mr. Erik Porn, thank you so much, buddy. As I said, this has been fantastic. We'll do it again. And feel free to share anything onto the page, anything that you're working on, anything that's important to you or you're passionate about. We'll always support you. So thank you so much. As always, the one and only Zombie Barbie Rhiannon Nicole, I love you so much. Thank you, my friend, for being my partner in crime, my cohort, the best person I will ever roll with.
Yes.
Thank you. To my wife, Allison, I love you, baby. Thank you for being born. To my boys, I love you. Daddy loves you. Thank you for being born. Everybody out there, keep pushing chins up. Rhiannon, we have had an amazing first dozen shows or so. I got to say, we have been extraordinarily blessed, and Mr. Erik Porn just adds to it. And I'm not even going to make a joke there. Too much class. You see, too much class. Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much.
I put the ass in class, so it's all good.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I want to give a shout out. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. We've been looking forward to it, and I'm so happy that you wanted to come on. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
So we'll have
Thanks
to
for having me.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. Thank you, Bud, for being the best co-host I could ask for. Without you, I wouldn't have this show, so I just thank you so much. I love you, love your family. Every week is amazing. I want to thank My Indie Productions. They are, if you check them out on myindieproductions.com or any social media platform, they are very huge in the indie community, and it's not just horror. They promote everybody. So check them out. You know, Ty Guberman is always working his ass off to get us indie artists out there. So check him out, support him, you know, share, help him out as much as he can because he's working hard. Johnny Ellenberger for doing our intro and our logo. Chris Atella for doing our outro music, and then our intro and outro for iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of those platforms. And then Crazy Ink Publishing for publishing my books, Broken Halo Blood Curse, and Broken Halo Witches Game. Also, right now we're trying to become USA Today bestsellers or New York Times bestsellers. So we have a box set on pre-order for 99 cents, 21 books from 21 different authors, dark romance, dark paranormal romance, awesome. So check it out, order it if you can, share with your friends. And with that, I am done. I can't breathe. I was like long-winded.
Fantastic. Everybody out there, chins up. It ain't over till you say it's over. Go out there, pick yourself up some porn, and enjoy your night. We love you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.